Xiaomi's getting ready to release what might be the phone that will revolutionize the photographic market in the year 2026. We're discussing the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, for which we already have some leaks courtesy of Digital Chat Station. The highlight will be its main camera featuring a physical aperture of f1.6. While this might not seem too impressive at first, the inclusion of new generation LOFIC technology allows it to achieve an effective aperture of f4.5, making it truly remarkable. What does this mean? I'll explain. The reason is that typically when we mention a cell phone having an f1.6 aperture, we assume that a lower number is better as it collects more light. And indeed, that is true. However, in this context, we are discussing the physical aperture, which is the actual size of the hole through which all the light enters. The f1.6 sensor has a relatively large hole that allows a lot of light in, but it can also create certain issues. In situations where there is an excessive amount of light, or when the light sources are particularly intense, the sensor might become overwhelmed and reach a point of saturation. In the sensor, and these types of green reflections or even areas that appear burnt will become visible. What did Xiaomi do? Use this technology LOFIC that groups 16 pixels in a superpixel, this when there is a lot of light. By doing this, the sensor behaves as if the physical aperture is much smaller, in this case equivalent to f4 5.5. That is, during the night or when it is extremely dark, you have an f1.6 to gather a large amount of light. Meanwhile, during the day or in very bright lighting conditions, you can control the light effectively with an f4.5 aperture. This helps avoid reflections or overexposed areas. All of this is achieved without moving any mechanical parts. It's like having two lenses in one or a variable aperture, but without any components that could affect the camera's durability. But the best part of the case is that it will not only work with the main camera, but even with the 200 megapixel periscope camera that would have an effective f8.6 aperture. We don't yet know what its physical aperture would be, but it will certainly have a good illumination. Apple is also said to be planning to use this LOFIC technology in upcoming iPhone models, because it does indeed help a lot. Today's cell phones are 100% focused on bright apertures as their small sensors need strong light input for good photos. However, photographers may appreciate a more closed aperture for sharper results. However, let me emphasize that a closed aperture is not typically something people look for in cell phones. Yet, it appears that this feature will become the next significant advancement in the ongoing competition to determine which cell phone excels at taking photos. Although, remember that leak is not presentation, but if this goes like this, the Xiaomi 17 Ultra is going to be an absolute beast in photography, just as its past generations have been. Would you buy this Xiaomi device from its launch, or would you wait for the next iPhone 18 Pro Max to be released to compare it?